Let's start with that big impact of ours after our non-stop coverage on project delays and industry's demands for faster approvals. The Maharashtra government makes a big announcement. The state will only approve building construction permits online from the 15th of May. What's more, as we reported on this channel, all approvals will be given within 30 days. Listen into the big takeaways from that event.
This is really going to enhance the image and also ease of doing business. What is ease of doing business? Ease of doing business is a commitment to make it faster, easier, competitive to do business with the objective of fostering inclusive growth. The model building bylaws have been announced and need to be taken to their logical conclusion by the states and urban local bodies. We are discussing about the Ministry of Environment and all. Fortunately, we have a good minister now, who is also proactive. He is from your state. Now in the coming days, you will be happy to know, up to a plot of 1,50,000 square meters, you need not go to Delhi. Your corporation will be authorized to give permission, environmental clearance also. That is the topic.
I think, looking at our pace of ease of doing business, you need to increase your pace. Otherwise, people will put a blame on you that you only do the MOUs and don't act. I'm sure each one who is present here is capable to build 100,000 houses, affordable houses. And I'm looking forward for an initiative from you. I'm sure you will do it.
Every noting will be available online. So if you reject, what are the reasons why you have rejected? If you approve, what are the reasons why you have approved? Will be available online. You will also be able to see why somebody sat on a particular file for how many days. So it is publicly known, sir. So that transparency works. More than that, we've done a second thing, that videography of the site will be done at intervals specified, and that will also be put up on the site. So nobody can say construction has been done beyond the permission. So all that is available. And thirdly, sir, going beyond this, there are people who interfere with the building permission both positively and negatively. Now those names will also be put on the site. So that if you have to interfere, please interfere in a positive way or interfere in a way which will stand the scrutiny of law. Next please. Sir, the next target that CM put before us at that point of time was that this whole thing should become online. So till that day when we cleared the process and launched, till that day we were not doing it online. So he put a target before us, everything should be online. Sir, you'll be happy to know we've done the whole thing online. From the 15th of this month, we will not accept any physical permission.
Well, big day for the Mumbai property market. You heard it here. Starting the 15th of May, all approvals will be given online, and the government assures approvals will be given within 30 days. Now, for home buyers who've been waiting for so long for homes to be delivered and for homes to be more affordable, what does this mean for you as a resident of the city of Mumbai? Will developers who've up till now comfortably blamed delays on government and permissions, what excuse do they have right now? Joining me on the show to answer questions, Niranjan Hiranandani, co-founder, managing director at Hiranandani Group, Shaina NC, national spokesperson of the BJP, Sunil Agarwal, director at RICS. I'd like to thank all of you for joining me on the show. Shaina NC, we talked about this 8 months ago, 6 months ago, 5 months ago. You promised that the government would do something about the ease of doing business. We've had several developers on this channel, on this show, complain about the fact that permissions and approvals were taking too long. You've now delivered, and I want to congratulate the government, both state and centre and local here in Mumbai, for being able to pull this off. I want to congratulate the government on this. It's a tough ask. It's a complicated market in Mumbai. It's a tough ask to do within the next 15 days. How confident are we that this will also help us finally bring down prices of homes and make homes more accessible?
I'm sure it will, because this is a trickle-down effect. Do understand that from the 15th of this month, if you're going to have all approvals which are given online, means For starters, end of corruption. You have aviation clearances, which used to temporarily be a different department. You had integrated issues with the BMC, which were areas of contention. You had the MOEF and the environment clearances, which were dealt with separately. Here you have, under the ease of doing business, your permissions which are given by BMC, by urban land sealing, by urban development, and by the environment clearances, all given under one parameter. And I think that the very important points here is that the railway and environment clearances have been integrated in a month. So in a month, for those who are thinking of key infrastructure projects also, this is a great beginning. Do understand that if you are reducing, if you're talking about the draft DC rules, you have reduced permissions from 14 to 3, from 34 to 14, sorry. And I think that this in itself is a big landmark when it comes to the ease of doing business. The TDR that we have all been discussing is going to be dematerialized. This is a big call for the real estate sector. And I think all in all, if we look at it in totality, the fact that you have digitalization, you have online requests, you don't have to go from department to department begging and wondering whether your file will be cleared or not. This will increase not just accountability of the officials, but also systematic functioning of the government. So I think that we need to also understand what Mr. Venkaiah Naidu said, and I think that's a landmark, and I'd like to quote what he says. He says that environmental norms will be integrated in the DCR of Mumbai. The draft has been sent to the MOEF and the state government. And this is not limited to just Mumbai. Our Chief Minister has said the DCR is for other municipal corporations as well. And in the age of digital India, we will ensure that these ease of doing business are absolutely translated into reality within the 15 days that we're talking about.
Translated into reality in 15 days. Niranjan Hiranandani, we've had these conversations as well on this show where we talked about environment clearances. You talked about what's happening on the local level. If this happens in 15 days, where there's no longer any sort of man-to-man contact, as the Urban Development Minister called it, where all human interaction is removed from the system, environment norms, the airport authorities sanction is all worked into that one online submission, will we then have faster delivery of homes and more affordable homes in the city of Mumbai? Will you be able to give us that?
I must tell you, I first have to congratulate Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, because for the first time I have heard in the last 15 to 20 years that the central government agencies' approvals, the state government agencies' approvals and the municipal corporation approvals are going to be put online. Number two, that they will be integrated together so that all the permissions come together and you don't need to go to multiple people, agencies and governments. I think it's a really superb action which is being taken by the government. It was a very great surprise today to hear this announcement from Mr. Venkaiah Naidu. Of course, in the last 60 days, we have been watching Mr. Devendra Fadnavis and Mr. Ajay Mehta working on the ease to doing business at the corporation level, at the government level, and a lot of things had been put in place. As they said, in another 15 days, this is going to be activated fully. But the surprise announcement was Mr. Venkaiah Naidu when he said the environmental clearance will come automatically because they're going to be decentralized with the municipal corporation. Hats off to them. I think it'll be fantastic if it really happens and gets executed. I think it will be unprecedented.
Mr. Hiranandani, the ball is now in your court from the government, and we heard the Chief Minister also say this. Both NAREDCO and CREDAI, and I know that you're part of NAREDCO, signed an MOU with the government saying 10 lakh affordable homes will be constructed in the state of Maharashtra. It hasn't happened yet. Now that all of this has been done, where the government has done their part, if we're saying that this is what was needed, the government has done their part, now what's standing in the way of approvals? Now what's standing in the way of affordable homes?
Surely. I mean, first of all, you have to understand that a lot of people are waiting for all these approvals. I'm sure they will start coming and falling into place. As soon as they start falling into place, the volume of flats which will be available in the market will increase. Even if the builders don't want to rationalize prices, they will automatically happen because the supply in the market will automatically increase. So, I mean, you can't expect that production of houses are going to happen tomorrow morning. But I'm certain as the productivity increases in a year's time, you're going to see a large number of affordable houses being announced and advertised for people to come and take it up, and the prices are going to look good. Of course, in Mumbai city, you can't expect rationalization to that extent because the ready reckoner rates and all the other costs which are there now put by the corporation is high. But in the peripheral areas of Mumbai, you'll certainly see rationalization of prices over this period of time.
Shaina NC, Niranjan Hiranandani saying that the costs on the ready reckoner rates and the premium FSI is too high for affordable housing to come up in the city. There's another fresh demand.
Well, I just want to say that you don't have overnight solutions, but the way and the speed at which our government is working, you all know that the people who belong to the real estate sector, how harassed they were to get permissions for even one project, going from BMC to environment, etc., etc. So I think that our Chief Minister has made his political will, which was questioned until a lot of our propositions were announced, but has also shown that these are going to be implemented through transparent practices, accountability, and to do away with corruption in the system. So this is also a value addition because this is a huge cost which is saved. As far as low-cost homes are concerned, yes, we have got a proposal even in the development plan that certain non-development zones and salt pan should also be used predominantly for low-cost housing, because we believe that that is the need of the hour. You have to have about 10 million homes for a city like Mumbai, which is a Herculean task for the government, and the housing department has also thought of novel ideas such as that. But I think today the victory really is to be shared by Venkaiah Naidu and Devendra Fadnavis, because the kind of coordination you have seen between Maharashtra government and the urban development department in the center is translated into a reality which is lesser permissions, fast track, because everything is online, no going from babu to get anything cleared, and that is a huge value addition if you're saving so much time. So I do concede that yes, you have escalated prices and a ready reckoner that you have to deal with, but you have so much of production that you can speed up with a system where it allows you to do this kind of business, and business at speed that you choose for it to be.
Shaina, also the other big takeaway for us as home buyers was the announcement from the BMC Commissioner, where he said that everything will be available online, including you can find out where each file is stuck, who's holding on to each file, and we make every officer accountable. Now, here's my question to you. While the problem of delays has largely been, we know in the NCR region, Bombay has had its fair share of delays from developers. And this question goes out to Niranjan Hiranandani, also in Naredco. I want to know what you're doing. We have thousands of people calling us every day. We know that RERA is an excellent solution, but it's at least 1 year away. In the meantime, what can we do to push developers to complete projects? Because now they have the permissions. Now they have the ease of doing business that they didn't have up till now. What can we do right now within the city of Mumbai, at least within the rest of Maharashtra, to push deliveries, to push projects that have been stuck, to make sure that people who've paid for their homes actually get their homes?
Well, you have the Real Estate Regulatory Act, and you have a lot of organizations of which even...
Go ahead, Shaina, go ahead.
No, I said you have the Real Estate Regulatory Act. You have a lot of people like Mr. Hiranandani and other organizations within the real estate sector as well, whether it's the MCHI or all kinds of federations that also want to safeguard the buyer and also talk about credibility of developers, etc. So I think this kind of transparent process and accountability that we're seeing, which is a shake hand between the government, which is the agencies at one end, and then you have all the developers on the other, is a very proactive, positive way in the days to come. And I think that if we also analyze a city like Mumbai, you have various aspects. You have people who are into low-cost housing, you have people who are into hardcore infrastructure projects, and then you have the developers who are catering to the middle-income group and high-income group. All of these are segments which are amalgamated into this one vision plan of the Chief Minister, of the state, and as a vision plan for the center as well. Because Venkaiah Naidu ji, when he talked about smart cities, his entire focus was develop these clusters that are so self-contained and have such good services that you won't be putting the load eventually just on a Mumbai or a Pune. So I think all in all, it's for the experts to comment, but we're on the right track and I'm very positive about it today.
We're definitely on the right track when it comes to ease of doing business. Niranjan Hiranandani, what is the delay then in that case? What can we do to ensure people get homes? Because now the government has done its bit. Now the government has pushed what the government needed to push. What are developers doing now?
I think the developers are pushing up the whole thing, because if they don't complete the projects early, then they have to go under the regulatory bill. So, and that's a cumbersome process to start with. So I think most of the developers do want to complete their projects early, in order that they don't have to file for the purposes of getting their ongoing projects onto this regulatory bill. So they would like to complete the projects before the regulatory bill comes into force. That is a big incentive to the developers to actually complete the projects early and on time. So I don't think developers are doing any delays purposely. Some of them, of course, are stuck with financial issues where they have financial problems and they're not able to make the two ends meet. There's a problem there, especially those who don't have the credibility or they are over leveraged. I think there is a problem, and that's an issue that needs to be solved. But having said that, I don't think the developers now want to delay the projects and wait for RERA bill to come in, so that they have to again file for getting the approvals again for under the new regulatory bill.
Shaina NC, you know, I know that you're busy and you have to leave in a bit, but I do want to ask you this. We have a lot of buyers who get in touch with us on this channel who are struggling with deliveries right now. They want to know what we can do to help. Is this a list that we can bring to you in government? Will the state government partner with us to get justice for people who have not got... Okay, I understand Shaina has left that conversation. We are going to try and get back in touch with us. Sunil Agarwal joins me on this conversation. Sunil, you heard the change in regulation that we're seeing right now in the city of Mumbai. You don't believe that this is entirely what was needed? You think that we need more?
I think we need a little more, because, you know, I've seen these plans being implemented in some municipal corporations and development authorities. Bhubaneswar is an example. And Bhubaneswar then matured the system by having a software which kind of detected these faults. And then also there were these comments that were there made on the side by the government authorities. And many developers still had to struggle. So I think, one, that, you know, it's a great step forward. I think it is a game changer in the long run. But in the short run, I am not so bullish whether this system will work in the right kind of, you know, environment. So I think that will take time to evolve. Second thing that I would just like to state is that, you know, we announced these things with a great fanfare. But when it comes to implementing this, not only there are, you know, the slip between cups and lips, there will be another system which will develop to counter this. Now, I read that there are going to be amalgamation between environmental laws and the laws that are there in BMC, and they will part form of the BMC. I'm not sure that is such a great idea. If you look at Punjab, The Punjab did the same thing. So there is one red tape at the local level, and then you have another red tape. I don't think so. This means the end of going to the Ministry of Environment for clearances. Now, if you have to not go to the Ministry of Environment for clearances, and there is one clearance which sits within BMC, I am very happy. But if this means another set of regulations after regulations being added to the BMC bylaws, then I don't think so such a great thing. So, a good effort. But I think the fine print will play out over the next 6 months, and if that fine print is, successfully implemented, I think we will see a game-changing situation.
Niranjan,
I'm for transparency, but not, this kind of announcement excites me at the outset.
Niranjan Hiranandani, we have one skeptic here about these announcements. I want to understand from you what risks you see in this new process. Is there still room for manipulation? Is there still room for corruption in this system?
Look, I don't think the intent is very clean. I've seen Mr. Ajay Mata working on this proposal. I've seen the team of engineers also working on this proposal. And I think their intent is to clean up the system as far as possible. Of course, there are black sheep in every system, and you're going to have some problems with some of them. But by and large, I think the intent from the top, right from Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, right from the municipal commissioner, right from the chief engineer and others, is to clean up the system and really put it online. Of course, you're going to get black sheep, but that doesn't mean anything. I think if the intent is very hard and strong, you will see the difference happen. And hopefully it will happen very, very fast. As they have said, 15th May is the deadline for this purpose. And I'm hoping that this effectiveness will make a wonderful change for approvals in this country.
All right, big move there for approvals in this country. Our phones are ringing. I understand Vijay from Mumbai has a question for us. He'd like to join in on that conversation. Vijay, good evening. Can you hear us?
Good evening, ma'am.
My
name is Vijay.
Yes, Vijay. Of course, we're hearing this big announcement now from the BMC. The BMC and the Urban Development Ministry and the state government have changed the way developers will be given permissions, which means that all of this, the delays that we're seeing so far, should be speeded up. Is that good news for you?
No, my query is different, basically. Okay. I'm one of the 900 plus customers.
Yes, Vijay.
Yeah, I'm one of the 900 plus customers who have booked flat in Uptown Greenwood Thane project at Nagar Pokhran Road number 1 in 2009. As per agreement, the position was to be delivered by November 2011 to 31st March 2013 by Uptown Limited, a public limited company. This project is of 6 towers, and not even a single tower is complete in all respect in last 6 years. And all towers are far from completion in near future. Customers are paid from minimum 39% to 92% of the agreement value so far.
Right.
They have extended the position dates number of times in last 7 years, giving all sorts of excuses like material shortage, labor problem, approval problem, etc. And also stated that all problems are beyond their control and have stopped work for months together due to same in the past now. Now, even after having all approvals to construct 30 floors, so far they have erected only 14 slabs, and work has stopped again since last 4 months. Other builders could complete the project similar or bigger than this in the same location with minimum delay. I am requesting Magic the Channel to contact and call the promoters, Mr. Vimal Shah or Mr. Hemant Shah, to Channel Studio and take commitments about restart of work and delivery of position and compensation to customers due to said inordinate.
All right, okay, Vijay, I understand. Mr. Hiranandani, I know you cannot comment on behalf of other developers. There's a lot of this going on in the market right now. I want you to help me understand, when groups like CREDAI and NAREDCO have members who are having issues like this, what can buyers do? Who do we go to for answers? If the developer in question is not giving us answers, who do we go to for answers? Can associations like CREDAI and NAREDCO help us?
I can't hear.
All right, we seem to have lost that connection. I'm going to take a very quick break. We'll come back and continue that conversation. Stay with Magic Bricks now. Welcome back. You're watching Magic Bricks Now, India's first property channel. I'm Fide Souza. Thank you for staying with us. We're talking about project delays and the fact that the government has taken this massive step to increase the ease of doing business in the city of Mumbai. Joining me on the show, Niranjan Hiranandani. Mr. Hirandani, thank you for staying with us. A couple of very quick questions to you. I know you yourself are looking very strongly now at affordable housing within the city of Mumbai. Tell us about your plans. Tell us what this affordable housing will be. Where is it likely to come up and when can we expect it?
Basically, you have to understand that there are two aspects to affordable housing. One is the question of making the sizes of the tenements small, which we already have been doing rampantly right from Powai to Thane to other locations. The second is to bring about an affordability where the prices of tenements get below 6,000 rupees a square foot, which we really need to do in order to create that kind of price point which people will be able to afford and buy, and for which they can actually get a loan for a period of 10, 15, 20 years and be able to pay the EMI on time. Now, on the first part of it, we have already started, which means that all these project areas do have smaller size tenements which were not being made by us earlier. The second part is those areas where we are bringing the prices to a position wherein the affordability at the total cost level has come down, where at this point of time we are doing Panvel in a very, very big way, which has already started, which is at a price point of about 6,000 rupees a square foot. However, we are looking now for other pieces of lands which are on near the railway lines up the central track, mostly on the Central Railway Harbour line, and those areas that we are looking for those lands. And we are hoping to close 1 or 2 transactions in these areas where we should be able to get into a further affordability characters that we think should be around 5,000 rupees a square foot is what we are targeting to be able to give these houses for. So we are moving in this direction. Some of it in terms of sizes we have already done, but in terms of total price, we think Panvel is a start.
Well, when you say 5,000 rupees a square foot, tell us how many homes you're looking at constructing. So for one of these complexes, obviously you'll have to work in bulk in order to make, fiscal sense of all of it. How many homes are you looking at constructing in terms of units?
We are looking at about 5,000 to 10,000 tenements in terms of a start of these projects. But also it depends on how we be able to actually close some of these land issues which we are working on with the various landlords that we are talking to. But let me tell you, until we don't close, it's no use making unpredicted or wrong numbers that we are talking about. But existing tenements in terms of Panvel is very large. We are looking at 2,000-3,000 tenements in that area.
I also know that you have plans for Alibag. Tell us what those plans are. Will those plans also include affordable housing?
No, not really. They are actually weekend resorts and second homes rather than really the first homes that we are talking about. But yes, a portion of it will become affordable housing, but at stage 2. So the first part of it is more going to be resorts and second homes is what we are targeting to be. And hopefully the connectivity to Alibag will improve. The government has already announced the Ro-Ro week. Vessels are going to start in about 18 to 24 months time. I think Alibag will take a moment opening out. But Alibag is more a resorty place rather than a first home business.
Right, affordable homes in Panvel, resorty type homes in Alibag, but the focus is really on the Thane project at this point. We understand that TCS is in conversation with you to bump up the, the commercial space that TCS has already taken up. Is that conversation also, is that information also true, that even though TCS has already cut one of its the largest deal in the country with you for its new space, that it's actually looking at increasing the space it's taken up within the Hirandani estate in Thane?
Faith, they already have a right to take additional space at the same prices. So our arrangements were for about 2 million square feet at stage 1, and then an additional million square feet or thereabouts in stage 2 if there, but that's a first right to refusal. So we can't say till the right is exercised by TCS, one could not take for granted that TCS has already taken it. Yes, always. We hope that these transactions do close down positively for the company, but it's like, always until you don't sign the dotted line, the second phase is not done.
Is there any room for affordable homes within the Thane project?
The present price points are not looking as affordable as they were maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So I don't see that happening immediately in the estate that we are looking at. But we are looking at other pockets of land in a further down the roads. If those things materialize, yes, then Thane projects would have affordable homes of the character in terms of price points also. At the moment, it's the size point that we have been able to cover, which we did not do before.
All right, last question, Mr. Hirandani. We do know, of course, that the whole problem with the dump yard has not been solved, and as a result, the High Court's stay on any new permission for any new construction in the city remains. How damaging will that be to the supply of homes?
That's disaster. Disaster. Because if you see, a lot is happening with the government, and the government is making efforts to make a paradigm in terms of infrastructure. For instance, metros, coastal roads, Pinjal River project, Cross Harbour, and so on and so forth. But there are lots of things which have taken a back seat, and solid waste management was one of them. It's not possible to really solve the problem of solid waste management overnight, but the High Court has slammed down on the corporation that they need to close down all further construction, barring slums, etc., are going to be stopped for a while. If that happens, the prices of real estate will actually go up, not come down, because the supply is really going to get constrained. So on the one side, we have a problem of solid waste management, which is really a tensionful problem for the corporation, one, and then the people, two. I think that's an issue which we really have to sit down and find a solution. However, we must understand the High Court has actually should have given some sort of window in terms of allowing construction to take place, and the municipal corporation needs to do a detailed study of this to find solutions. I don't think a solution can come as an instant coffee solution today. So I think a window of opportunity for the corporation to give proposals should have come before.
All right. We also know, of course, that the draft development plan that's being worked on for the city of Mumbai includes no increased FSI for the suburbs at all whatsoever. This is going to be really difficult, because if we can't go up vertically, where is the space going to come in order to make new homes?
This is a kind of a chicken and egg situation between the activists and the government. The government had produced a paper earlier talking about higher FSI, and I think the activists got into the act and said no, the FSI should be reduced, even though that's a need for affordable housing and so on and so forth. But I think at this point of time, the activists have had the upper hand in terms of saying that no, we don't have to, we should not increase the thing. And I think the corporation has taken the side of the activists in terms of reducing the FSI for this. So the answer to your question is yes, it's going to be that. I mentioned it earlier that in the city of Mumbai proper, unless the government doesn't open the salt pan lands and does a large amount of construction into those lands, because those lands are available and vacant, which is again a challenge with the activists. I don't know how the affordability characteristic for the smallest of small houses is going to take place. So you have to do the salt pan lands or those lands for the purposes of small housing and weaker section housing as well as affordable housing. And unless that is not taken up, it's not going to be affordable to have affordable housing in the city itself.
Well, of course, we
Though
saw...
it can happen in the peripheral areas.
We saw also that there was a similar situation in Kalyan Dombivli where there was a ban on construction until the solid waste management problems were solved. Now, that ban has just been removed about a week ago. Are you considering Kalyan Dombivli as a possibility for construction at all, or will you remain in the Thane and Panvel neighborhoods?
We are looking at Kalyan too.
You're looking at Kalyan too. What sort of construction are you looking at in Kalyan?
Now, we haven't finalized anything, Faye. A little distant away from actually being able to conclude any land deals. So, but our people are looking at that location.
Also, very quickly, before I let you go, I know you have to catch a flight, but before I let you go, I know that the work has now started on your Chennai project. Your Chennai project was stalled for a while as well. Give us an update on the Chennai project and what the progress has been.
The Chennai project at Oragadam is really now taking off. We have also changed a kind of a part of it. We have made, we are selling plots, we are working on villas, we are working on, again, now more affordable housing in that segment. So differential type of housing with differential amenities we are doing. Of course, we are looking at a school, we are looking at a hospital, we are looking at retail. So you're going to get to see a complete mixed-use township in Chennai as we start the events again for re-putting the project on track. It's already started, and there seems to be a lot of interest, especially in the plotting development that we have taken up.
All right, very quick question. Of course, affordable in Chennai is completely different from affordable in Mumbai. When you say affordable in Chennai, what do you mean in a ticket size and per square foot?
Affordable in Chennai would be around 3,500 to 4,500, and the regular pricing would be in the region of 5,500 to 6,500. So that's the segment that looks affordable in that part of the market.
All right, Mr. Hiranandani, many thanks for spending time with us here on Magic Bricks Now this evening. We appreciate your time. I know you have a flight to catch, so I will let you go right in time. It's time for us to take a quick break on the channel. We'll come back. More news on the other side. Don't go anywhere.